Alrighty then, folks. How are we all doing? Sorry for the trouble. For some reason, YouTube just wants to make my life hell. So that's a new thing. That's a new thing. When I say it's a new thing, it is not a new thing at all. Alright. Alrighty then, folks. Oh, and of course, now it's got my playback coming through in this thing. Oh, good lord. Why would you do this to me? I'll tell you why you do this to me. Because you hate me. It's the only thing that makes sense. Alright, let's get on with the show, shall we? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this will not come onto my studio. Ha-ha! Great success! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to What Are You Painting Now? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it seems that after all of the technical difficulties, I've managed to get things working. Ah, yes, that sounds like classic me, doesn't it? Alright, so we're actually starting off with something that I missed from last week. So, who do we have with me here? So I know we have Earthman Brick! But who else do we have in our chat? It's alright, you don't have to be shy. You can be shy. It's an option. But anyway, we are starting off with Dog the Fog. And see, the thing is, I actually missed this dwarf here because I thought it was part of these guys right here. For some reason, my brain had just broken down. And for some reason, I had thought that that was a part of a thing that he'd shown us before. So I thought I would go over this week. Alright. So he's shown us some works in progress, and see, I think this is really interesting, the way that he's shown us what he does before the orange. Now, I'm really surprised that he's actually gone base brown with this, because when you take a look at that hair color once it's all done up, now I'm going to kill these as I go, otherwise I'll never get through them all because I had to load all of these ones. Alright. But what you'll notice is, right, just how bright the orange is, but maybe that's the brightness toned down quite a bit. So I think that that is really good. Alright, let's go in and let's take a look at some of these things. So once again, Doug the Fog has done amazing eyes. I really like these eyes, and yeah, I think that's pretty much just it when it comes to that. So the one thing I take a look at here, right, it looks very, very clean. But yeah, so with these in all of the pictures that I've seen, they've sort of had this welting appearance, and I've always thought that that's a good look. Just, you know, going over that with some flesh tone or even some crimson red. I do believe I've got the wash somewhere around, but yeah, just that idea of making them just feel a little more there, because the way that they're described in the lore, that's what makes me want them to just feel a bit more painful, feel a bit more Warhammer. Because one thing that I will say about this paint job is it is so clean. It is beautifully clean, just unimaginably clean, which is really good. But to me, I just feel like you could give it a bit more grunge. Just a tiny bit more grunge. Like, pretty much all of this here, there's nothing I can really say where I go, oh, that definitely needs an improvement there. When I take a look at it, you know, it all just feels fine. Maybe something on the base, but, you know, I do think, like, it's a very nice looking base. That's a pretty big maybe, but for me, I think like the guy there, as a whole, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. There's nothing where I look at him and I'm like, that's impossible. No, you cannot do. No, I really do like him. At this stage, all of it's just more nitpicking than anything else, but it's obvious that Doug the Fog wants to improve where he's at, so that's why I'm giving little bits of, you know, advice like the welts and that sort of thing. Alright, so next up, we have another one of the berserkers, and so it seems to me that it's a very similar sort of thing. I'm gonna see if I can. I think I have moved something else rather than the thing that I want to move. Oh, Firefox capture. Here we go. Here we go. Try and move. I'm gonna try and expand this just a tiny bit, ladies and gentlemen. You will see behind the cloud all of my tricks, and they are revealed now. Oh no! But yeah, I just wanted to get us a bit more of a zoom on this one. All right. So yeah, I think once again it's more about the just adding those little details at this stage. Obviously, you know, just missed a tiny bit here, but for that, it's nothing that you're really that worried about. All right, so these are the guys who he's done up before, who I had gone and spoken about. But yeah, very, very good job, and congratulations once again. But I do believe that finishes off everything for page 8. Yes, yes. Excellent. Alright, so next up, yep. This is where we start with some more of the dwarfs. And I do believe I've actually got this guy preloaded. Yes. Alright, excellent. Alright, so I do actually like the no eyes look here with this guy. I don't think I can get in close enough with him to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. But, see, what's really good about that is how it contrasts against those very nicely done up eyes, right? See, if everybody's got that same sort of scowl look, it doesn't look as good. But when you take a look at this, right, and he's compared to those guys with those very sort of stark looking eyes, that is a very nice look. Once again, there's not much that I could say which isn't a nitpick on these ones. But what I will go with is, I think maybe a slightly different color with the braids in the hair. Right, maybe just a slight tone up or down with the orange. I'm not saying a completely different color, just something to exaggerate that difference. That would be good. Let's see, what else do we have here? And once again, that whole welt thing idea. But other than that, all good. And here we have them all done up. I do believe that's, yeah, just down here a bit. So he's finished them all up, which is very nice, you know, and you've just absolutely been smashing them out, man, which is really good, because I think that's one of the things you got to do when you're with painting. I was talking with brushstrokes earlier, and I think that's one of the reasons why my paint job is not so great, because I haven't been properly painting in a long while, and I think that really does hurt it when you don't have that level of look. But now that I have them all together, I will say one thing. All of these skulls here, going with the grey, I think that you're way better off going with a bone look here. You know, Xandri Dust, what is it? Sharpty Bone, that whole jazz, right? Because when they're grey here like this, I don't think that they have that same level of contrast that an actual straight bone look would have. I think that would be really, really nice, my dude. Taking a look at them all together, they look really good together. That's the first thing. What else? There's not much else to say. Like, I think they all look good, and I think that it's all pretty much the same advice as before. You know, just little things is what you're looking to improve now. Like having the braids of the beard just a slightly different color to accentuate them, you know, make them look like they're hitting the light a bit more, all of that sort of thing. But yeah, other than that, my dude, there's not too much advice that I can give. And if you're looking for like stepping up, do tell me. And I'll try and find things which competition people are looking for, because there are competition people who are trying to get a step up here, and we'll talk about that. Alright, so he's got these guys up next. And see, this is why I think it's really interesting to see them grow and evolve, right? So we see how he does it here, how Doug the Fug does it, right? He'll get all of these different colors, right? And all of the metallics, all of the, pants, all of that sort of thing. Everything which isn't skin color, he'll leave till last. Now, not everyone will do it that way. Some people will just smash out the, like a face and do everything else. Other people will leave the face till last. And it is an interesting way of seeing how people go about doing things. But yeah, I do think that when you have a good feeling for how a skin looks, you do feel a lot more confident with your model. Alright, let us move on. And next up we've got Earthman Brick. Now, I do believe I've seen somebody else do up one of these models before. So obviously just a work in progress, not finished yet. But just be aware when it comes to these sorts of things, especially with female models with their skin, because you don't have that definition. What you're definitely going to want to do is just get that smooth look to them, because when they don't have that smooth look, they just look so unnatural, right? I'd definitely hit that up. But yeah, I've seen lots of different effects with these brickworks here when somebody's done up this model. I don't even know from which game this comes, but I have seen it before. But those bricks, man, just that's gonna be a bit of a mission. But female skin is just as much a mission, because they don't have the muscles, and you can't do the cheating. You can't do all of the usual wash, that sort of thing. Alright, so next up we've got this guy right here, and I do believe this is one of the ones that you've been putting together, if I am correct. Yes, no, maybe so. Will we get a response? Is he even here? Does he even know? Is my mic even coming through? These are all worries that I have now. But yeah, so when it comes to these sorts of things, one of the big things is warts and welting and that sort of thing. I think one of the things I'm gonna try and do, it's a half sculpt. So do tell me what that means. I'm gonna see if I can find something that I've got on my computer and see if I can throw it up on here, and hopefully that will help. Definitely not looking for the wedding photos. Because one of the things that I want to show you, my dude, is if I can show you like a more nurgly sort of looking thing, because that is one of the things which I don't usually get into, and it's usually not my wheelhouse, usually not. But no, alright, I'm a bit lost in the weeds here, so I'm not going to go to it. I'm going to go back to the model itself. Alright, so I've done the body out of milliputty arms, and the head comes from a zombie. Okay, yeah. So here's the big thing right here. I'd focus on having welts under here, right? Having pale skin and having those really noxious veins coming up. And I would probably with this try for a sort of off milky white pustule look, and just hit that with like most probably a mix of some sort of stone color and a shafty bone, and then I'd water that down. And when I say I water that down, I mean actually water it down, because you actually want the pigment to break a bit, and then have that run down, and that will give a really great pussy look. I'm just gonna have one last look, see if I can find it here, because it is a really good example of what I'm trying to explain to you. Oh, so frustrating. He's such a unique model, and I don't do this sort of thing all the time. So when I have him, yeah, no, it's not coming. It's not coming. All right. Sorry, my dude, but yeah, that is the big thing that I'd try and focus on, because having, you know, zombified, Nurgly looking models is always a bit of a pain. Now, this model here, right? When I remember seeing all that sort of shredded look here, right? And if you're going for shredded clothes, I think that's going to be really hard. If you're going for skin here, unfortunately, I think you're going to have a lot of trouble with that in here. Arms, fine, obvious, but one thing I noticed here is you might be able to get a sort of broken bone look here if you paint up. There's a certain bit in here which can look like bone, and, you know, just put a blood effect around it and then just do skin up on the rest. You might be able to get away with that, but that's going to be hard to paint, man. I'm not going to lie. Alright, next up we've got Sicko Boy! Alright, and Sicko Boy's been doing some more war machines. I do believe they're war machines. I could be wrong, of course. I could be wrong. Gonna see if we can get a bit of a closer look on this bad boy here. But yeah, I do really like the gold and purple look. That looks very nice. Yes, much closer. Very better. Not that much closer, obviously. But the big thing is for me, when I take a look at this right here, I'd just like to see a bit more light on the model so that I can get a good look. Alright, so with the skull thing here, once again, like I was saying before, rather than having that grey look, go for more of a bone look, because if you're going to do the bone look, you know, it's going to contrast really well with the rest of this, because all of this has a very sort of mute, dull down tone, right? And then you're bringing in this more naturalistic look, and that will just pop the model right off, right? And it'll bring attention to here, which will show off what you're doing in here. But yeah, man, for sure, just pop a light on that thing and give us a bit of a better look at the bad boy here, because it is actually looking really nice. I definitely think one of your better pieces that you put up thus far, and I mean, you haven't been doing badly. For me, I take a look at this, and what I do like is I like the flatness of all of the purple in here, right? I would try and give just a bit of a highlight here on the edge, you know, just a bit of nice edging. But other than that, I think that you're doing pretty great. Like, I've forgotten the name of this this particular clan, but I know that they are very dulled down. But the thing is that you still want your models to pop. Absolutely. Alright, let's get back to it. So next up, we've got Garrick Gorebreaker. And here is something I prepared earlier. So, I think that just clean up the eyes a bit here. You know, do a bit of skin over this bit right here. I'll see if is that coming through. No, it's not. I'm gonna have to bring it down a bit. All right. Calm down, everyone. Calm down. All right, right here, just over that right there. You know, I think that will really help. Now, I think messing around with all of this mumbo jumbo has definitely messed things up just a tiny bit. But I just wanted to get in a bit closer on some of these models, because a lot of the time their detail is lost when we are looking at them. And if you are unconvinced until now, this is most definitely a one-man show. Oh my good lord. One moment, please, folks. Okay. Alright, let's see. There we go. Having a bit of a better look here now. Alright, yeah, so I think that just fixing up that eye will help out a lot. What else? What else? There isn't a whole lot else that I do have to say about this bad boy right here. I think that I think that the way that he looks right now is pretty good. Yeah, there's not a whole lot that I can say other than the things that I've already said before. Hitting up those skulls down the bottom with some bone rather than the grey, I think would help a lot. But other than that, there's not a lot to say, my dude. Alright, let us move on, and we will see how things are going elsewhere. Alright. Yes. And thank you, Earthman Brick, for being so active in the forums. It really does help. There's my abomination. We will try not to focus on that. Alright. And yes, we have another one from Earthman Brick. And this one I was actually pretty impressed by. This one, unlike the other one that I saw, I actually really like how the white or the off-grey thing looks compared to the rest. I think most probably it's because he's got darker skin and that warmth offsets all of those white skulls. You know, that's some of the things that you've got to think about when you're doing all of this color contrasting things. And once again, there's something that I just want to go over. So this right here, right, I feel that it should have a more pained look than it does. You know, the way that it's just a normal scar, right? And while I think that would be fine for just about any other company, this is Games Workshop, right? This is, everything is over the top. But yeah, most probably just give a quick dry brush under the hand with the whatever the standard skin color is these days. What is it? Cadian? Bugman Glow? But yeah, I think you know what I'm talking about. Alright, let's take a look at the rest of him. Yeah, no, I know that that's Doug the Fug's, not yours, my dude. No, I was saying thank you for commenting on things. You know, because that's why people come back. That's why people come back. They come back for the commentary, because most people will put down a picture and they'll be like, all right, let's see how it goes. Let's see how things pan out. And they just hope for the best. And I think that's yeah, it's just one way of doing things, but I think what I'm trying to do here is just build up a bit of a community, and the important thing is that people have to communicate with one another, and it's not about being so, like, I used to say all about positivity, right? But some of the times I think that people mistake that for saccharin. And the thing is that when you're trying to improve your painting, you don't need saccharin. Some of the times you do. Some of the times you feel like, you know, like you're in a hole and you need a bit of sugary sweetness to lift you up. But when you take a look at what Doug the Fug's doing here, right, it's obvious that he has gone up a level, right? He's trying to reach up. And that's why I don't want to give him just saccharin. I don't want to give anyone just saccharin. what I want to give people is this feeling of you can do better. And, you know, they're like, but you said that last week. And I'd say to that, this week you have done better. And then the next week you'll do better. And the week after that you'll do better. And that's what I want for people. But some people have different goals. Some people just want to get models on the tables. But to me, that's what it looks like for Doug the Fug. He looks like he's really trying to improve his game quite a bit. Alright, let us move on. Alright, where are we? Loading, of course. That's what I needed. That is what I needed. Alright. Oh, yes. And if anybody wants to have a go at me for the Infinity models, you know, now is the time, because I tell you what, that is some horrible, horrible paint jobs right there. Alright, yeah, and I want to say welcome to one of our newer members. Now, I do remember a Clayman that you've done up, Earthman Brick. I haven't missed it yet, have I? Have I? No, it's okay. Good. Alright, so next up we've got Daimon, enemy of the Nightman. Oh, of course, I remember that this thing just likes to play games. Image null, excellent. Alright, let's, come on. Please, I remember, please let me get the bigger picture. Oh, no. Will you let me interact with you now? Alright. Copy image location. Alright. So this is apparently as big as we get for Diamond's picture. So I was hoping to get in a bit bigger. So what I do like about it is we've got these very sort of exaggerated paints, right? It does look like a straight airbrush around here, and then the big red R, that sort of thing. So when it comes to this, I think that it looks really good. It looks very completed. The one thing that I would try and do with this is I would probably try and do something like chipping. So if you haven't done that, my dude, what it is there's a couple of ways to do it, but I'd say that the best and easiest way for you to do it would be to say, go with this guy right here. When you first assemble him, just straight shot of steel. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put some water on him and then put some salt on him, right? And let the salt diffuse. It'll stick to that, and then spray him up as per normal. Rub the salt off with the toothbrush, and then all of a sudden all of those chips underneath are revealed. You could do sponging, that'd be another way of doing it, but yeah, I think that is what this is crying out for, because there's not a whole lot of like sharp edges. You're not gonna bring him up, there's not a lot of detail, that sort of thing. So I think technique is the way for you to go. Alright, next up we've got Earthman Brick, right? And see if we can get a bit of a bigger image here. Okay. Oh, why you like this? Why? Sorry, I'm just moving around things in OBS to try and get a bit of a better look as we're doing it. So I think when it comes to this guy, this is one of your better sculpts, because it's obvious that you're going for that more sort of earth elemental sort of look here, right? And you've got a lot more room to play with that sort of thing. Alright, this right here, this is pretty good. I do like the head look, so the head and the neck, that looks good. I do like the musculature on this side, but on this side, it doesn't look quite right, so you're going to have to work on that a bit. But other than that, the whole thing that you've got going here looks a lot better than the way that you were going before. But do keep in mind, you know, this is what are you painting now, not what are you sculpting now. So take all of my advice with a grain of salt, my dude. Like, don't beat yourself up about it at all. At all. Because, like, I'm not a sculptor. I'm trying to give advice that I think would be helpful. But who knows? Who knows? I might be giving you the bum drum. Alright, so next up, we've got some more works in progress from Earthman Brick. And then we've got one final one from Doug the Fog. And let's take a look at this bad boy right here. Alright, so I think he's it's a noble mutant from Mordheim, the brute, the Carnivale of... Okay, cool. So when I take a look at this guy, you know, very, very over the top. So I do like all of that sort of look. And see, once again, like the white of the skulls here doesn't quite look as good as it does with the other one. So I'm just going to bring him up so you guys can see what I'm talking about when I talk about the white of the skulls. So it doesn't have that quite same sort of impressive look that it usually does. And yeah, that for me, like, I don't know. It just doesn't look quite as good as I think it could. And that's why I keep going on about having this whole idea of doing the, you know, having a bit of contrast there. Because of the way his skin is, it's a much closer match to that of the skulls down there. But I definitely like all of the splattered blood. I think that looks great. But I think one thing that you could have done with this is have like a blood wound here, right? Just get some of that crazy blood mixture in here and just have it trickling down. You know, I think you've gone over the top enough with the model that wouldn't look crazy. I think that would be just perfectly fine. All right, next up we have Brushstrokes. Now, Brushstrokes has been working on this bad boy for a while, hasn't he? So the thing is, when it comes to competition painting, there's obviously going to be a different level of judgment. And yeah, I'm just... That's pretty much what I'm going to say from the outset. So if you guys are like, oh, why are you being so harsh on him, blah, 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 you'll know why. So once again, beautiful work with the actual bamboo here. Beautiful work with the rope, all of that. So the only thing for me is, right, just the grass is a bit overpowering when I take a look at this, right? So let's take it down a bit so you can see the grass a bit more here. So right here at the bottom of this pole, now the way the grass comes and shoots out like that is natural, right? But I wouldn't mind having some dirt around here to have something to contrast against. At the moment, it's just a bit overpowering for me. And you'll really see that once the model comes on. Around the edges, I just feel like I just want to take a lawnmower to it and just clip these edges. And the reason that is, right? So we see it all done up here, right? Those weeds really helps the contrast. The flower, just beautiful. But now we see it here with, okay, here we go. With the model itself, right? Now, this is what I'm talking about here. The reason why I'm really critical of the sort of overshoot is when it comes to these sorts of things, when I see competition models, so say, you know, some of the Golden Demon stuff, it seems that they really like that neat look, that as soon as you're at the edge of your miniature, nothing should come off the edge. Now, I don't know why that is. They'll let the miniature pop off on all sorts of angles, but you know, when it comes to the actual miniature, I'll see Golden Demon. I'll see if I can find up something of what it is that I was on about. Okay, yeah. So that's one way, but it's one specific model that I'm thinking about. But here, in the meantime, we'll just take a look at this bad boy here. See if it's gonna... No, SpikyBitchBuck.com. Gotta take a look at all of our ads. Yeah. Don't you know, we've got ads and stuff. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, okay, cool story, bro. So you see, it's just so neat when it comes to the edges of the base. But there is one in particular that I'm thinking of, which has this sort of mounted base. And very much you'll see with these sorts of mounted bases, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, my dude. I'm just telling you how it is. Just telling you how it is. So, there's that. But, yeah, when I take a look at it, that's one of the things that really stands out to me. The grass coming over the edge. So there's that. But the way that the musculature is done, oh, just beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. So the soft fade into the pink, I like that. It looks really good. I'm trying to take a look at some other things, right? The other thing that I look at, which is most notable for me when I think about competition painting, right? I don't think that it's like this right here. If you wanted to do that up as a non-metallic metal, you know, I think that would get you extra points. I really like the way that you've done the sword, but for some reason, you know how they are. When it comes to certain types of things, they've just got a certain way of doing things. The way that you've got the patterns in here, right? Very nicely done. The way that the banner's done, just beautiful. Really gorgeous. Hair I think could have some work done on it. Now, when it comes to black hair, I don't really know what to do. I'm gonna have to ask Z on how to do black hair, because the only thing that I can think of is hit that with a Nola Oil gloss wash to give it more of that sort of signature Asian look, because I don't know what it is, but Asians have like really glossy hair, really like it's just this very particular look. But other than that, there is not a whole lot of advice that I can give you on this one beyond what I've already, you know, talked to you about and that sort of thing. But yeah, all right. So, and it finishes off with me, ladies and gentlemen. So, who do we have here in the chat? Do we have anybody ready to berate me in the chat about all of this horrendous work? Or is that it for tonight? Oh yeah, I've got to remember. I must remember that there is a bit of a delay when it comes to these things, because for some reason that just isn't in my head. Yeah, and that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. Unless somebody's got something to say. Alright, just you. Alright then. So I'm gonna make it a quickie this week, because we haven't had any problems, and God willing, we'll keep it that way. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. You know how it goes. You keep those brushes wet, and I will see you later. See ya!